Today I'm going to show you how to weave bracelets like this, and we've already watched the videos about the history of weaving. And you're all going to have a little disc that looks like this that I cut out for you. If not, you're going to have to cut it out. And then you're going to take your scissors. Today these are the things you're going to need. You're going to have one strand. It has 7 pieces of yarn. Make sure that it doesn't get knotted, and you'll have to check that throughout while you're weaving. And you're going to have a disc that looks like this. First thing, put your name towards the outside. You can put your class code on there if you want to. And I've already cut these out for you. If not, you're going to have to cut them out. And then you take your scissors, and you don't go past that line. So you're going to cut each little section like that. Make sure you go all the way in a little bit because you want the yarn to be able to catch on something. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So then you should have 8 notches. I'm not done yet here. Thought I was. Okay. Now, this is the tricky part. You have that little center dot. You're going to have to fold this in half as best you can to where you see the dot. Now, you're going to have to use the hole punch. And the hole punch, make sure that you don't put it inside the middle. Make sure, let me see if I can get this a little closer. There we go. So there's my circle. And you're only going to want, okay, there we go. You're only going to want to punch half of it. So I go on the circle and I punch half. Okay, and so then there's my half of my circle. So when I open it up, I have a circle. Now, another tricky thing, and like I said, I already have all this ready for you. You want the knot on the back. So then you set the knot like here, right here, okay? And then you slowly, one at a time, you pull very carefully because you don't want to fray the yarn. You bring them through, and if your hole is too big, then the knot will come through. That's why you want to be careful. So when you're pulling these through, do them one at a time, and make sure it's not getting a knot on the back and a knot on the front. And then I'm going to fast forward through this. It might be helpful to hold this part down while you're pulling it through so you don't pull these little pieces through. And now I've just got one more to go. And be careful because you don't want to rip this piece of cardstock. Got the blue, pull it all the way through. Sometimes it helps if you hold that and then it'll release the tension a little bit. Okay, so now you have your strands. Let me back this up so you can see a little better. And you're just going to take each piece of yarn and very gently, try to do it in order so you don't have a knot here as well. Very gently, you're going to just put them in order from the notches, okay? And almost done here. And you can make another one of these. This is your first weaving project, and then you're going to get to choose what second one you want. And you can make another one if you want to. So the way I like to say it is put your thumb on the one that doesn't have a piece of yarn, and then you count to 3. 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me. Then I place it in that little notch, and I turn it like a clock, okay? Put my thumb on that. 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me. And then I turn it like a clock. 1, 2, 3. And if you need to say this to yourself to help get you going here, 1, 2, 3, and you'll just get really used to it. Now, what I want you to see is underneath here, I'm creating kind of like a knot. Think of this like a jellyfish. You want to gently take your fingers through so you're not having a knot underneath, okay? And then what's going to happen is it's going to start to weave underneath the bottom. And it's really cool. Here's one that I already have done. It will look like this. And you can make them into keychains. You can make them into a bracelet. And I will show you at the end how to take this off. So say the pattern with me. Here's a little bit of the rope that I've got. 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me. 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 The biggest thing to remember is to repeat the pattern over and over and to make sure that you don't have a knot underneath. 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me. Always turn it the same way. 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me. 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me. 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me. Also remember, they use these, the warrior used these as ropes 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me. And I put a title of the name of the bracelets, the Japanese bracelet, at the beginning of this video. I cannot pronounce it very well. It begins with a K. So 1, 2, 3, pull in front of me, continue weaving, and then I'll show you next how to turn it into a bracelet and take it off. So this is the one that I have done, and at the end I would measure it first, make sure that it'll go around your wrist, which this one does. Make sure that you can tie it. If it's, make sure it's long enough. You can also make these into bookmarks. So I'm gonna take them off. You can use this again and again, okay, so don't throw that away. I very carefully take all of these off, and I'm holding on to the back, okay, while I do it. And then I just take each piece of yarn off. Very gently hold that edge right there, pull this through because you don't want to rip this, okay, or have a knot. So now I have all this yarn. This will become unwoven if you do not make this into a knot. So how you make it a knot, you have your finger here, you wrap it around, and then you pull all of these through, okay? So now it's pulled all the way through. Let me do that again. So I take my finger, wrap it around, make the hole bigger if you need to, bring all the yarn through. Make sure you have all the yarn, then you pull it through just like that. If you need to get a scrap piece of yarn and practice, go ahead. Then what I do is I have my finger close to here, and I very gently, I'm pushing this part of the thread down, okay? And then, because I want it to tighten up against where I've weaved. And I slowly, then you can slowly start to pull, then you can start to pull them individually, the pieces of yarn, and there is my knot. And if you tied in some of your weaving, that's okay. So what you would do then is either this could be a bookmark, a keychain, you could tie this into a loop, put it on your backpack, or you could just take it like this, tie it like that, and then I'm gonna leave this string so I can pass around and show you. And then there's your bracelet. And you can also, artists, use the embroidery thread. I have neon string that I'm gonna bring out, which would be, it's a lot thinner than this. That's why I want you to practice with this first. So enjoy making your bracelets.